We're heading north at the moment.
Yeah.
So what you can do, well, we'll just do a visual approach. You don't want to do an ILS, do you? You can if you want. We can have it in. We can have it in on standby, so you can actually fly it all by hand, but have the ILS as a backup.
Yeah.
So if we were going to use, let's say we land on the left-hand one, so we'll land on this one here.
3-4 left.
Yep. So if we grab the ILS frequency for 3-4 left, which is
this one.
Yep. And so this one, this is for talking. This is radios for VHF, and this is radios for navigation.
Yeah.
So here it is here. The ILS frequency is 110.1. Point 1. Yep. Okay. And then when we get closer, we'll transfer it across. But you also, it's no good just having the ILS tuned in. You need the final approach course tuned in, which 335. So dial up 335. And that actually also gives you a pretty good, as you're doing that, you can see your little green course line there was moving.
Yeah.
Which gives us a good idea of where we need to go, because if you look at the runway there, you watch that green course line moving.
Yeah.
So that's where the runway is.
Yeah.
So we actually really need to, at the end, make a sort of right turn.
Yeah.
To head out, so we can make a left turn to come in and land.
Yeah.
Now the easiest way to do that, I might as well just give you a bit of a lesson on the FMC while we're doing it, is go back to your fix page. Oh, you're already on the fix page. What you want to do is put a 10-mile ring around Sydney Airport, so we know exactly where the 10-mile circle is.
Yeah.
So if you type in /10 into the keyboard, yep, and put it up in that first set of dashed lines there, yep, and then watch your display. Yep, you watch your display in front of you.
Ah, yep.
And that's a 10-mile ring. So now, if I set my course to be the same as yours, so we're not fighting each other, you'll see there's only the 2 green lines then. 3, 3, 5. So what we really want to do is fly to the edge of the green circle.
Yeah.
So point your heading bug, so it's at the right-hand edge of that green circle. Yep. And that way, when we finally make the left turn to track on the runway heading, we'll be about 10 miles out.
Yeah. Sydney Airport's easier to fly into because they got that big man-made, I'm not sure if it's man-made, but like the runways jut out into the ocean.
Yeah, so they're easy to spot. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Yeah, we can all, well, we're actually still 40 miles out, so we won't quite get them. We'll get them before too long. Now the other thing is we need to start thinking about our descent, because if we're only 40 miles out, and we're at 80,000 feet, we want to get down to about 3,000.
Yep.
So let's do it. Let's dial up an altitude of 3,000 feet. And then this time let's hit level change instead of vertical speed. Yep. The throttles come back to idle.
Yep.
Nose drops. Nice. Now the difference with level change and vertical speed is when you dial up a vertical speed, you get a certain descent rate in feet per minute. So 1,500, 2,000, whatever you want.
Yep. That doesn't change.
Irrelevant of your speed, yeah. Whereas this mode will descend us at 330 knots, because that's the speed we've got dialed in.
Yep.
So it'll do, or as best as it can, it'll descend us at whatever rate it needs to maintain 230 knots. If we try and slow that down, the only way it can slow us down is to bring the nose up. So if you suddenly just dial that to 300 and you watch what happens to the nose. Up it comes, because it's saying, right. And then once it gets us slowed down to 300, it'll push the nose back down, so we descend at 300 knots again. Pilots like it because, well, air traffic like it when you travel at a constant speed.
Yeah.
So what they say is, can you descend at 280 knots? So by doing it this way, you dial up the speed they want, and the aircraft will just descend at whatever it needs to maintain that speed. And that's what they'll do most of the time. They'll tend to use this only when they're in closer to the airports and they want very controlled descent rates.
Yeah.
The other thing is it's good on fuel, because often it'll try and pitch you down to what they call flight idle. So you see the throttles aren't running at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it says, oh, well, I'll just, to get you to go at 300 knots, I'll just point us closer to the ground. Yeah. And it saves on fuel. There's the 2 runways you're talking about, jutting out into the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so easy to pick up. Now, zoom in on your map a bit, because we are a fair way out there. I wonder if we're going to get down enough. We're not. That green banana line out there, that's the computer projecting when we're going to get to that altitude.
So what if we went round and came back in on 25?
Came back in on 2.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, so out to the ocean. Alright, so let's grab an ILS frequency instead for 2.5. I like the sound of that. So the ILS for runway 25. Nowhere to be found. Why can't I see? 347, higher there. The GLS, but there should be an ILS. Let's ask the computer. Route, let's say we're going from, we left Canberra and we're going to Sydney. But now it knows where we're going. If we say we want an arrival procedure, arriving in at Sydney on an ILS 425, which is the one I want, execute that. Now, that then means if I go to the init ref page, it'll tell me what the frequency is. So it's 109.7. And the inbound course we need to set is 242. And I'll set the same. Get rid of that.
Set up a bunch of stars for us.
Yeah, so what we'll do, basically this is where we are now. So it's telling us how to get to the start of the ILS. And then it turns around and comes back that way. So we kind of want to ignore that. We're just going to kind of fly down this way. Turn across, and then as we get close, we'll just turn to the runway. But now at least we can see we're going to make our altitudes much better. Which is kind of all we need. I think that was a good idea. Well, let's just see what's going on the internet while we're doing all of that. Okay, let's put the start switches to continuous. Both of those, yep. All the taxi lights on for landing. We've just come through, we can do the turn off ones as well. Now we've come through the transition level, below 10,000 feet. See how your STD, your standard's gone yellow? That's a warning telling us that we should have transitioned. So as soon as you press standard, that'll go green, but we actually should be on 1013, so dial it back down, that's it, to 1013. Because we haven't got any weather, see it's a nice calm day, we're not having any weather put in at the moment. If we go onto the network we have to, we're not allowed to fly on there without it. And we can see the runway we're going to land on. Good. Okay, so landing procedures, so auto brake, let's set that to 1. Good, and what else have we got here? Start switches, recall. Do you know where the recall is? Big black button on your dashboard there. No, next one to it. Yep, press that. Oh, that's it. Press it. So that's the recall button. Which there's 12 different areas of potential problem. All those orange words. So. And we check that normally to make sure all the systems are functioning. If you turn off one of the fuel pumps, for example, just pull one of those out. You'll see a few things. Give it a second. And the first thing that happens is you'll get a fuel warning come up automatically in a minute.
That come up on?
It should at least come up on the main panel before long. Anyway, we'll give it a second and see. Because the idea, you can see we've already got an orange light. The idea is orange lights are bad. Like you don't even want those. And if you would have, we'll give it some time and then we'll go back to it. Got the city all right. Okay. So where are we headed? We're not bad. We just want to really track around the top edge of that green circle. In towards Jelly. Sydney's only about 9 miles away.
Coming up.
So we'll level off in a minute. We can bring our speed down. We're still going way too fast now. So let's bring ourselves all the way down to the minimum clean speed, which assume for now it's around 210 knots, and then as we get closer you'll see it on your flight display. Yeah, I think it is still... well, press your recall button just before you bring it on. There you go. Okay, so you get your fuel warning, which is normally what would happen when it throws the warning. That'll come up there. But so that's what you're checking for, recall, that there's no errors. Start switch is continuous. Okay, speed brake, do you know where the speed brake is?
Oh yeah.
Lift it up before you just that's it, and then just put it in the arm position. Keep going. Yep. And what you're looking for is that light there. So normally the way it'll work is you just, if you watch the dashboard, you just pick it up and you bring it back until it says speed brake's armed.
Yep.
Which normally should be around about where it says armed. And that'll automatically deploy when we land.
Yep.
So as soon as we put the wheels down, both wings, spoilers will come up. Auto brake will stop us. Now, can you see our minimum clean speed? You can. So dial is all the way down to where it says up, which is the minimum speed we can go while we've still got the flaps up. The stall speed's quite a lot lower than that. That's down there at 170 knots, but that's the computer saying don't go slower than this until it flaps in. Okay, left turn. Yep, just point us at the green line basically, or back in towards jelly. Then once that turn's done, we'll talk about how to take control back. So what you effectively want to do is turn off the autopilot and take control. Nope, none of those. All you need to do is...
Just that?
Nope. Don't have to touch any of this. The whole lot, the way this is all set up is technically I could just press that.
Yep.
But the way it's set up is for me, if I'm flying, this button here turns off the autopilot. For you, it's on your left thumb. That one, right? No, on.
Oh, that one.
Yep. So all you do is to take control. You press it once, it'll turn off the autopilot, but you'll hear a warning sound.
Yep.
Press it the second time, just gets rid of the warning sound.
Yep.
Can we see the runway? Where are we?
It's over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can actually see it. We're about 13 miles out, so take control. And start a left turn. And if I transfer your ILS over, we should then see it'll get identified. Okay. And I'll turn the mode to localizer, that'll give you something to track. Yep, so you can definitely see the runway there?
Yeah.
Good. I'll wait till we do about 10 miles before we start to bring the flaps on. And we'll arm the approach mode as well. But ideally, you're just flying out the window. Just go in and land. Okay, that's 10 miles. I'm going to set flaps to 1 and change our speed to flaps 1 speed.
So, are we going to taxi?
Sorry?
Are we going to taxi?
Oh, we can do. Yeah, we'll come to a stop and then decide what we want to do next. We can do whatever you like, really. Okay, that's all fine. We're on approach mode. Just approach heading 335, 252.
There's two little lights next to the runways.
Yep.
If they're white and red, that means we're good.
Perfect, yeah. If there's 2 whites and 2 reds on either side,
yep,
we're perfect. If you see more than 2 reds, we're low.
Yep.
And more than 2 whites, we're high. Now, at the moment, they're even. I can see on each side there's an even amount of red and white,
yep,
which means you're perfect. So that means normally about 800 feet a minute descent to stay on profile. So you probably want to just, otherwise you'll start to see more reds before too long. I'll also just start to slow us down a bit more. You've also got the glide slope, that little pink diamond there that's above.
Yep.
That means we're just a touch low, but we're about to get on it, so you're about perfect now. Good, good, good. About 800 feet a minute. Speed's good. Gears coming down. Flaps to 15. Okay, now that's 2,000 feet a minute descent. So before long, there it goes, 3 reds. That means we've got low. So just start to pull the nose up, but never lose sight of the runway. Okay, still got 4 miles to run. That's looking good. Flaps to 30. Landing speed. We are good to land.
Disney here with all these planes flying over.
Yeah, Sydney's not the best place. Good view of the city though, coming in. Okay, so that's beautiful. You've got 2 reds, 2 whites. If we're staying somewhere around 800 feet a minute, we'll keep them all the way in. Okay. Just to add to your workload, put your one hand on the throttles and one thumb on that black button. When we're about to land, I want you to press that button and pull the throttles back to idle. When we're about 10 or 20 feet off the ground. Keep the runway in sight. Good. Smoothly all the way into the, you're bang on it, just into the tyre markers there. That's okay. Just keep aiming at the tyres and the rubber. Perfect. Okay, kill those throttles and back to idle. That's it. Perfect. Nose down. Reverses on. Both of these. Steering with your feet. That's it. Piece of cake. Really nice. Okay, at 80 knots we can put the reverses down. Yep. Perfect. And now if you use the brakes yourself, that should tell me that, there you go, as soon as you use them it tells me that you've now disabled the auto braking system, so I can turn that off and you can bring us to a stop. Don't reach on them too hard, you just need to comfortably just roll them forward a little bit, you don't have to roll them to the end. Very nice, well done. Alright, let's just taxi us here and get us at least off to the right, out of the way.
Oh, we need to turn these off?
Not while we're on the runway. So just taxi, they stay on while we're on the runway, it's not until we're actually clear that we turn them off.
Turn right?
Yeah, just up here and make a little right turn. That's the international side, but that's okay. There's nobody else. Okay, back them to idle. Otherwise you'll be going too fast for the turn. Give it a go. You might find it's a bit quick. Yeah, so you can kind of see how I just struggled to get round a bit. It's really just because when you started we're doing 18 knots, it needs to be about 12, but we're now down to 6, it's all good. Just head in there. Okay, flaps are up. Okay, throttles back to idle.
Turn off at the second one to the left.
Yep, yeah, wherever you like. Head down into the gate down there. His nose is up to the right of that. Steering with the tiller still. Yep. Oh, bit not bad.